That's what's up. Sorry I'm late, everyone. Sorry I'm late. There's a local group, Palestine. I guess I'll don't tell Maneater, but we'll just dox myself. Savannah for Palestine, and it started at 7:30. I'm like 7:30. Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to start doing the streams at 8 o'clock, right? 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Want to try to, and then maybe go 2.5 hours, depending on how hype the chat is, right? If there's people in here, if we're having good vibes, maybe we can go a little bit longer, but maybe like not longer than 2 hours is kind of where I'm shooting for. But I said, you know what? Who does their New Year's resolution right away? Like, you gotta fail like at least a couple times, right, out the gate. Or is it the opposite? Do you like not fail until like a 30 days in? I don't know. But we'll start doing 8 o'clock later. So I was at the meeting and it definitely went long. There's a lot to talk about. Really good group of people. Surprising amount of people for being in the southeast of the United States of America in Georgia. But I've always been pleasantly surprised by this area. I'm kind of lucky in that way. Not as blue as like a place like Atlanta, but Savannah's definitely still a little bit, definitely bluer than the rest of the state, you know. Such is the city. What's up, everybody? Let's see who we got here. Smoke One Kenobi coming in. Keeping the diamond at the VIP coming in first right away. What's going on? Elion Leray. Welcome. How are you? Sig Fang, Architect of Sin. We got the mods in here. Thank you very much for that. I'll probably bring it up a couple times in the chat if more people come in, but just so you all know, if you haven't noticed, I am streaming. We are simulcasting. We are streaming both on Twitch and YouTube. That'll be the norm from now on. Got everything set up, went through all the work, and not my name. Yeah, you got at the beginning this time. That's what's up. I went through the work. I got everything dual streamed up. And so now whenever I'm going to go live on Twitch, you're going to see me live over there on YouTube as well. This year, I have a goal. I think I said this last year, but I feel I didn't put in the effort. If I have to, New Year's is all about resolutions, going, looking ahead, right? But I think a new year is also a good time to reflect, to talk about like who you were, how things went, and then that way it can better inform or motivate you for that next year, right? And as far as LeftFace goes, fuck that. Fuck self-reflection. As far as LeftFace goes, I would say that if I were to reflect on the channel, whether when we were Beta Boy TV or now that we're LeftFace, there's a certain level of effort that I know I didn't put in, and I think I'm gonna change that. I think a lot of times we streamed just to stream, and there'll be like 4 hours of streaming, and it didn't matter if there was 10 people in here or 2 people in here. I'm probably gonna be streaming for about 4 hours anyway, right? I think I'm gonna start doing more of a stream with a purpose. We're gonna talk about our segments. We're gonna get through what we have planned to talk about, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And also starting earlier, starting on time. That's a big one. I'm not even fucking with the gym this year, right? Get back in shape, lose X pounds. Like, if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. Like, I'm happy with where I'm at. Where I know I could actually improve is this project, this whole thing that we're doing here. I'm already trying to set up things. So in the meeting today, excuse me, the woman who is the leader of the group is a Palestinian woman, and her and her counterparts were on the local news, and we're gonna talk about it when they come on. But they were on the local news, did a really good interview, because here in Savannah they had this really cool event called Road to Gaza. And what it was a symbolic drive. It was like a instead of marching on foot, it was going to be a convoy, right? So and so what they did is they met in Savannah, and everybody who was going to be a part of this event all drove up. And I don't know how many cars there were. Apparently there were quite a few. I didn't get to make it because we had pictures planned that day, unfortunately. But I was gonna, me and Maneater were gonna go, and they convoyed, and people had their Palestinian flags on, little signs on the car, and all that stuff, and they drove from Savannah all the way out to Jekyll Island. Well, they got invited to the local news to talk about this event, to talk about, what is the message, what is the message, et cetera, et cetera. Apparently the journalist, the reporter that did the interview was great, very friendly, talked to them like human beings, wasn't trying to dunk on them, just informative, like any journalist should. But somehow over the next few days that video would get taken down. Wasn't on their YouTube, wasn't on their website, it just disappeared. I expect it was because of how nice the reporter was. Didn't push back, didn't call him anti-Semitic, right? Because that is the ADO line. If you are anti-Zionist, that is anti-Semitism. And so what the news got from that whole thing was, you allowed these people who are saying from the river to the sea and free Palestine to go unchallenged, and they took it down. So bottom line is, she's gonna come on here probably sometime next week. I'm gonna meet up with her tomorrow. I'm gonna talk, but I'm gonna just start doing more things like that. I want to start becoming more involved, not on the internet. I think that was another thing. Like, I don't know. I think there was a big shift in my life last year. There was a big shift. There was me getting out of the Air Force, me trying to focus on this, but I don't know. I felt like I couldn't find a rhythm. I couldn't find a routine. I couldn't find a routine. I wanted to be more active in the local DSA chapter, and I wasn't. I would go to GSA meetings every now and then. I showed up to some, I volunteered. Let's see, I probably did maybe like 3 or 4 events of volunteering last year. Not nearly enough given the amount of time I have free. And so that's that. There you go. There's my New Year's resolution when it comes to how I want to be this year. Be more involved in this channel, and be more involved in the community, right? So I want to get more consistent with going and volunteering with the DSA, and also definitely be more active in this new organization I just joined, Savannah for Palestine. So maybe I'll start filming some real life stuff and putting on the YouTube channel and all that. So we'll see how that goes. I've been watching Painkiller on Netflix. I have not seen that. Is it good? I think I'm going to go to the border at the end of the month, helping migrants near Hakumba. Okay. That's what's up. That's a drive, isn't it? That's quite a ways. Because I just remembered you're in Colorado. Matt Jarbo, what's going on over there on the YouTube side? Look at that. Look at that. So I get new names out here now that I'm dual streaming. You're going to fly to San Diego. Okay. Yeah, more YouTube stuff. I know. There you go. Matter of fact, thank you. Now my name. They reminded me. I'm not even talking numbers. I'm not even putting numbers on a New Year's resolution because, in my experience, that's a that's a recipe for disappointment. Let me tell you something about being real quick, and then we're gonna get into the show. I don't do well with getting close. Like if I told myself I'm gonna make it to 1,000 subs or I'm gonna get monetized and I only make it to 700 and something, hey man, you went up, you had a goal, man. That's 400 more. Blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you something. My brain is broken by the military. 23 years in the Air Force. There's just some things broken about my brain. And let me tell you, almost only counts in horseshoes and grenades. So my dad always used to tell me. And if you said you're going to make 1,000 and you do 999, guess what? You failed. You didn't do 1,000. You said 1,000. 999 is not 1,000. So I'm not setting any no quantifiable goals. What I'm going to say is I'm going to focus more on YouTube. I'm going to get the segments out. I'm going to get my editing done. My dad was a dick. I love my dad. 9 times out of 10, the only thing he's going to say that shit to is he's gonna say that to like if he beat me in a race or something, or when we play basketball, and I'm like, I almost beat you though, and he goes, almost only counts in horseshoes and grenades. You lost. Oh shit! Hell yeah! My favorite fellow vet and chat on Twitch is like, that's what's up. Midnight Monarchy. Welcome back. Love to see it. All right, what are we talking about today? So here's the deal. My dad said that because he was a dick. Because he is. Yeah. I'll tell you. Yeah, let me make it clear. My dad would say that only about dumb shit, like beating me in a game. Like, and we're like, damn, Dad, I had this goal, this life goal, and I got close, but I didn't make it. So you failed. Is that what you're saying? That sounds like a failure to me, son. No. All right. Today I did start a little late, like I said earlier. Started late, and so it's gonna be short. Now, last time I said it, we're gonna have a short stream. It was your standard 3-hour stream. So we'll see what happens. We're gonna start off with the headlines like usual. We're gonna have Democracy Now! Come up, and we'll go over some of the stuff. We are going to also go over, I chose a very specific topic instead of just kind of going all over the place. We're going to talk about South Africa is taking Israel to court, to the International Court of Justice in the UN in The Hague. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the details. We'll talk about what some of that might be. And as God is my witness, I swear it, we will watch episode 7 of Miss Me Yet. I'm going to break my rule about timing and if the chat is hot or not, or people are watching or not. I don't give a fuck if I'm watching this shit by myself. Winter Coffin, thanks for the subscription over on the YouTubers. Oh, look at that. I didn't change the little thing. I didn't make it say beta either. That's all right. I'm okay with that. Little bouncing default Tyrannosaurus Rex. I like it. That's probably something I should write down though. Fix YouTube alerts. Bro, you seen the photo of Bush covered in purple slushy? No. Give me a link. Drop a link. Fix YouTube alerts. I'm not doing that right now though. So as we get subs over here in the YouTube side, then we're gonna have the bouncing Tyrannosaurus Rex. Sig Fang, you in here? I'm promising. Miss me yet. I promise. Oh shit. Before I start this headlines, go ahead, L. Drop that link if you have it. If I start it, then we'll watch it afterward. Or we'll look at it afterwards. And too late. All right, we'll watch it afterwards.
This is funded by viewers like you. Please support our work at democracynow.org/give. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Fears of a regional war in the Middle East are growing after a top Hamas official was assassinated in a suburb of Beirut, Lebanon, on Tuesday. Hamas's deputy leader, Salah al-Aruri, was killed in a suspected Israeli drone strike that also killed 6 other members of Hamas. Al-Aruri was...
Wait a minute. Hold on, time out. Okay, look, you're not going to find me defending Israel a much of dick, okay? However, I want you all to look at this picture very closely. Okay? Now remember, if you've been here for a while, you've heard me talk about different munitions. You've heard me talk about, what kind of weapons do what. Okay? And if you look carefully, you'll notice that this building right here is not destroyed. These rooms are not destroyed. Potentially these are fucked up. This is destroyed right here. Look at that. You got like shelves and shit down here. Things still on their shelves. It's almost like, because we're hitting a different country, right? Because we're lobbing shit into Beirut, that we're not going to just completely, without regard for human life whatsoever, just drop 2,000 pounders to level city blocks. I'm not defending whether or not this strike should have happened or shouldn't have happened, okay. But what I am saying is 4 motherfuckers died in this hit. The Hamas commander and probably members of his immediate family, I imagine. But four people. I'm just letting you know that once they have intel, like they say they do, once they have intel, this is the kind of attack that you would be able to see. All right? This is what I did for a living. Like this kind of hit is what would be expected of a world power funded and armed and equipped by the United States of America. Just saying.
The chief of Hamas's operations in the occupied West Bank. He was also credited with strengthening ties between Hamas and the...
What you got, Matt? What do you give me the people's eyebrows for? I don't know about this.
Lebanese group Hezbollah. In the West Bank, Palestinians are holding a general strike today to protest his assassination. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah is scheduled to give a speech today responding to the killing. While Israel has not claimed responsibility for the assassination, one prominent Israeli lawmaker congratulated the Mossad and Shin Bet on social media. An Israeli army spokesperson said the military was in a, quote, very high state of readiness in all arenas and defense and offense. Lebanon's Prime Minister, Najib Mikati, condemned the drone strike, warning the attack, quote, aims to draw Lebanon into a new phase of confrontations, unquote. UN officials in Lebanon are urging all sides to show restraint to avoid a wider...
Disregard what I said. That's a big bitch. That's a big bitch. Yeah, disregard, disregard. So that one picture definitely is a drone strike, probably a Hellfire AGM 114. Google it. This right here, they're definitely dropping more than Hellfires, firing Hellfires. That is way bigger than a 114.
Conflict. As we went to air, Iranian state media reported at least 50 people have been killed and scores injured after at least 2 blasts went off at an event marking 4 years since the death of General Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in a U.S. drone strike in Iraq. Soleimani was the head of the Revolutionary Guard's elite Quds force. In Gaza, the death toll from Israel's nearly 3-month-long bombardment has topped 22,300. An Israeli strike on the Palestinian Red Crescent's headquarters in Khan Yunis has killed at least 5 people, including a 5-day-old baby. Gemma Connell, who works with the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs in Gaza, spoke from the El Amal hospital after the attack.
This is a space where children were living. You can see on the floor the blood. The world should be absolutely horrified. The world should be absolutely outraged. A child was killed here today. 4 more people were killed here today in a space that should be safe. But there is no safe space in Gaza, and the world should be ashamed.
In Rafah, a Palestinian man has set up a tent on the rubble of his...
We'll definitely talk more about that when we get into South Africa, and we're gonna look in the actual what they submitted, the document that they submitted to the ICJ.
Former home, which was blown up in an Israeli strike that killed his wife, 6 children, and 2 grandchildren. Ahmad Abu Slema said he survived because he'd gone out to find food.
This place used to be the house of my family, my house, and I'm the only survivor in my family. What separated us was that I wanted to get bread from the bakery. I wish I died with them. I wish there was no 4 or 5 minutes when I was away. That would be better than me living like this. Loneliness is tough and parting is hard. But I'm asking God at the beginning of the new year, 2024, to give peace to the people and to give peace to the Palestinian people and for this pain to end.
In other news from Gaza, the UN says half the population is now at risk of starvation. Arif Hussein, the chief economist at the World Food Program, told the New York Times, quote, "I've been to pretty much any conflict, whether Yemen, whether it was South Sudan, Northeast Nigeria, Ethiopia, you name it. I've never seen anything like this, both in terms of its scale, its magnitude, but also at the pace that this has unfolded," he said.
Yeah. Can we please stop letting this happen? Indeed. My daughter had called me. She's I'm actually pretty proud of her. She's gotten this motivation way earlier in her life than I did. I didn't really start getting focusing on politics, headlines outside of like the normal, what was the big news and what matched whatever my family and friends, the community around me, was thinking, right? Really getting in yourself and reading and analyzing in accordance with your own moral framework. And she's doing that now, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but sadly, it's due to something as tragic as this. This is what it is. And she asked me. She's like, well, I mean, surely everybody else could see what we see. Like, what can the UN do something? Is the courts going to do anything? Like, even Biden is giving them weapons, and I'm just like, and there's this sense of like hopelessness. There's this sense of nobody can stop them, and all you can do is sit where we're sitting and just stare as it happens. Um, I didn't start paying attention until undergrad. I wish I had started while I was still enlisted. Yeah. Yeah. Same. No, 100% same. I mean, who knows if I would have made it to 23 years if I had started earlier. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Even after my move left, I would say definitely I moved. I started moving left quite a while. Quite a while before I got out. Maybe a solid. I don't know. Maybe 8 years or so. 10 years maybe. But I was solid. I would definitely have called myself a socialist, a leftist for sure in those final at least 3 years. And so somebody rightfully might ask me, so you did not think you should be in Afghanistan and Iraq. You don't think that the United States wields it's because I still believe this part. Like the military is a neutral, is a tool. And I think the military has used the military for evil things, right? And they're like, yeah, and you're fine being a part of that organization. And for me, it was like, yes, I decided to take those last 3 years knowing that that they didn't have a mission I believed in anymore. Wishing that somebody else had power over this tool. And, but I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like, it's the meme. It's like, so should I just live in poverty now? Like, do I have to wear a burlap bag? Do I not use an iPhone? Right. I'm going to do the last 3 years because I'll be damned if I do 20 years and they don't pay me. You know what I mean? They're going to pay me for my, my disabilities, right? To which I have 100%. They're going to pay me for the time that I did. And so saying, sitting there at 18 years or 19 years and before my retirement and go, I'm out, keep your money. Like, okay, calm down.
In Israel, 42 survivors of the October 7th attack by Hamas are suing the IDF, the Shin Bet Security Service, and Israeli police over the massacre.
There you go.
The plaintiffs, who were attending the Nova Music Festival in southern Israel on October 7th, accuse Israeli security forces of approving the event amid safety concerns and failing to shut down and disperse the crowd after receiving information about a security breach just hours before the killing spree. This comes as an investigation from the New York Times finds Israeli forces were poorly organized in the response and had no plans to stop such an attack, which went ahead unimpeded for hours. Harvard
Unimpeded for hours, and there are sources. Listen, I'm going to say the next part carefully because I don't want anybody to take me out of context. I'm not saying that all of the people there at the festival were killed by Israeli forces. But there are reliable sources and findings that said that at least some of the people there were killed by Israeli forces in the chaos of things. Obviously not on purpose. We're not saying anything like that, but in the chaos of things. I'm still fighting to get 100%. Funny how the government rushes us overseas but drags their feet to give vets disability compensation. Yeah, no, for sure. I tell you what, I was lucky to have many mentors, one of which is my dad. My dad is at 100%. And I was lucky. I got through the first time. There was no fighting because I had 34 different claims on my shit. There was no way I wasn't going to get it. And when I went to get all the evaluations, like there's no milk in anything. There's no hey, people, in their best interest, they would always tell me. They used to go, remember when you get in there, make sure you milk it. Like if it hurts a little bit, say it hurts a lot. And I'm like, you don't have to worry about that. I am daily in pain. Okay, I go to sleep with nothing but pain pills. I'm not gonna have to exaggerate shit. And that was really like what was whether I believed in the mission or not, like, nah, you're gonna pay me. I live my life in pain. You're gonna fucking pay me, So yeah. But good luck on that. I think if I had it my way, everybody would get 100%. Vet or not, every person should get it. cut down on overseas bases, cut down on the F-35 project, and give all 320 million people 100% disability.
President Claudine Gay has resigned amidst a mounting firestorm fueled by right-wing politicians and media over free speech and support for Palestinian rights on campus. Claudine Gay, Harvard's first black president, announced she was stepping down Tuesday, just 6 months into her tenure, weeks after University of Pennsylvania President Liz McGill's resignation. Both women resigned in the wake of last month's congressional hearing on anti-Semitism, where they were grilled by lawmakers, including the far-right New York Congressmember Elise Stefanik, who gloated "too down" on social media following yesterday's news. Sally Kornbluth, president of MIT, is the third president Stefanik is hoping to take down. Following the hearing, conservative activists proceeded to smear Gay's academic history, accusing her of plagiarism after uncovering instances of inadequate citations of her work. In her resignation letter, Claudine Gay wrote, quote, "It's been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, and frightening to be subjected to personal attacks and threats fueled by racial animus," she said. We'll have more on this story with Khalil Gibran Muhammad, a professor at Harvard Kennedy School, after headlines. In Sudan, the head of the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, Mohammed Hamdan.
Yeah, that whole like two down shit. That just goes to what I was talking about before. Like there's no principled nature to any of these people. Dr. Midnight, what's going on? Welcome. You can only stay for a bit. No worries. My fault. I started late. Hope you're doing well. When we talked about how she knew damn well what she meant, what the president meant by president of the university, what Ms. Gay said regarding "it depends," right? No, that was the other lady, but that other lady also resigned. Like when they're talking about how it depends on whether or not it violates the school rules or not. And there's a lot of racism out there, has been for years, and you are allowed to generally say certain things. Like you could be a student at a school and say, "I don't think there was anything wrong with slavery. Black people should be thankful," or some shit like that. And they're not going to get kicked out. It's only when you direct those comments at somebody. You know what I mean? And they answered too technically. I hate that the GOP has ammo from this. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. You're right. I think there was a, when I first heard her say that, and I didn't say this, when we covered it the first time, but when I first heard her say that, I was like I gave this, there was this frustration, because I know what she means. And let me tell you what, that congresswoman, she knew what the fuck she meant, but it still was like a ha, I gotcha. You know what I mean? It was a moment to where it's like, no, bitch, it's not, it depends. Sometimes it's okay to want genocide for Jewish people. That's not what she means. That's not what she means. Nobody thinks that's what she means, but that's what you're going to twist it as. You know what I mean? It's just wild. It's just fucking wild. And then they'll two down. Yeah, right.
Agulo said his forces are open to an immediate unconditional ceasefire. Dagalo, known as Hemeti, made the declaration Tuesday as he signed an agreement with the newly formed civilian bloc, the Coordination of Civil Democratic Forces, or Takadum, which is led by former Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok.
First Amendment right on campus is not campus rules. Right, correct. And that was definitely, if I understand what you're saying correctly, that was what she was trying to get across, because the rules on universities are that they are to abide by First Amendment rules, like constitutional rights, right? And you can't, and the colleges are more strict, So I can go outside to my front yard right now and yell a disgusting slur to somebody as they walk by in front of my house, and I just sit on my chair and just yell it at random people walking by. And maybe a cop gets called. And maybe a cop comes up and says, hey, is there a problem? Like, nope. This is what's going to happen. You walk in front of my house, I'm going to say these words. And because this is America, nobody can do anything about it. For these particular universities, that's pretty much what they were going by. But they have additional, some extra layers on top of it, which is to say, you can say general things, right? We're going to protect your right to say general things, but you're not allowed to say them to students directly. But you know what? Hold on. You know what pisses me off even more, though? Is even here just now on this stream, I'm pulled off the main thing of it all. And that's that nobody at the pro-Palestine rallies are fucking calling for the genocide of Jewish people. Like, she asks that, are you saying it's okay to call for the genocide of Jewish people? And really, she said, nobody's saying that. Nobody's calling for the jet. And all the from the river to the sea and by any means necessary and yada yada yada. And it's like, nope. That's what really pisses me off. Because the answer should have been irrelevant. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
From here, we apologize to all our people in Sudan, in all its states, east, west, north, south, and center, for all the violations that took place. We are now extending our hands for peace. If they want peace, welcome. Nothing will make us leave Khartoum except peace.
This comes as Hemeti has been touring neighboring countries, meeting with the heads of Uganda, Ethiopia, and Djibouti in what appears to be an attempt to gain legitimacy as Sudan's leader ahead of any cessation of violence. Since the war between the RSF and the Sudanese army broke out last April, over 7 million people have been displaced within Sudan, making it the largest internal displacement crisis in the world. Another 1.3 million have fled Sudan. Some 30 million people are in need of humanitarian assistance. Reports of mass killings and ethnic cleansing have been mounting in Darfur. Activists say the Sudanese people and its pro-democracy resistance committees are the ones who should decide Sudan's fate, and warn the RSF is attempting to whitewash its crimes. The Somali government is denouncing.
So let me say this. I'm going to say this as a disclaimer, as an obligatory. I'm going to insert this, okay? One, I don't know enough about that situation, and it is on my literally on a to-do list on the notepad. That is sad. That is fucking tragic. Okay? It's sad. But if this is the kind of shit, the headlines that come out, and they'll be like, oh, this is where I'm going to start calling them what they are, Jewish supremacists. Jewish supremacists might go, oh, so it's only bad when Israel does it? We are not funding these other atrocities. Please believe that if I heard Biden, Trump, or any other congressperson or any other budgeting line item that says we're funding the people who are doing this then you can come to me.
Announcing an agreement between Ethiopia and the breakaway Republic of Somaliland that would give landlocked Ethiopia access to the Red Sea port of Berbera.
Back in the day, my father would say that to his coworkers. He wasn't considered white yet, if ever. Yet? What are you? I thought I need to stop. I need to stop assuming shit. What's your background, Dr. Midnight?
The Somali government has denounced the deal as an act of aggression and recalled its ambassador to Ethiopia.
Ethiopia's step is an offensive that endangers the stability and peace of the region, which was
Portuguese. So check this out. Fun fact, all right? I'm Puerto Rican. Both my parents are Puerto Rican. Okay? Puertorriqueño, Boricua. You would think Spanish done got in again. Yeah, but yeah. Sick man, you notice I stopped though. See, but this was the other. This was in the opposite direction. I just. That's good. If you know, you know. I'm not explaining myself. If you know, you know. All right. Sorry. So, I would always tell people, when I'm educating people on Latin American, kind of mixtures and why we run the gambit all the way from black to white, like Ellie and Lorraine, like L white. There's Puerto Ricans out there who look exactly like Elle, and you won't know that they're Puerto Rican until they open their mouth and start talking. So check this shit out. I go and I take the Ancestry DNA deal, spit in the tube, mail it back, and what I want to know is how much of me, statistically, and I know I've seen the documentaries. I know it's not exact, whatever. Excuse me, statistically is, what part is from Europe, what part is from Africa, what part is indigenous. To quote The Fifth Element, I only speak English and bad English. Yeah, same. Same. I think my English is okay. I would say my English is above average. My Spanish is horrid. My Spanish is embarrassing for someone of my background. But hold on, let me get to the thing. I ramble. I'm sorry, Dr. Midnight. I take the DNA test. My ass is like 40% Portuguese. So apparently Portuguese had a bunch of colonies. This is what started me on a rabbit hole. Portuguese had a bunch of colonies in the Caribbean too, but they were pretty much were in tandem with Spain, and they didn't really compete all that much. And a lot of Portuguese immigrants went to the Caribbean, and anyways, I'm mostly Portuguese, some Spaniard, and then about I think it's 38% black, and then the rest is 30% indigenous Puerto Rican. That's crazy. Crazy. My DNA say, bitch, you white. I got a cousin who was so dark, kids say he was Puerto Rican. That's fair. But to be fair, though, didn't the Moors get your ass too? Because I know there's a bunch of dark Spaniards in the South because of the Moors laying the smackdown for a few hundred years. I'm pretty sure Portugal got a couple of that. Got some of that.
already wobbling with problems. It is a violation and an open invasion of Somalia's sovereignty, freedom.
I want to do the DNA test, but concerned because I read. Let me tell you something. 23 years in the United States Air Force, they literally have every sample of fluid they could ever have from me. I've been stuck and drawn and everything. There's nothing like, man, you want my social? I'll just give it to you right now. No, I'm just kidding. No, maybe that's a little far, but yeah.
And unity of the Federal Republic of Somalia. The so-called Memorandum of Understanding and Agreement of Cooperation is null and void.
My only thing in me that isn't straight up white is less than 1% Jewish. Man, L, less than 1% Jewish? You better go get yourself a not in my name shirt. Get yourself a not in my name shirt. And every time somebody gives you shit, like, first of all, I'm Jewish. Oh, shit. Oh, what happened? Oh.
The breakaway Republic of Somaliland has not been internationally recognized since seceding from Somalia more than 30 years ago. Access to the Red Sea port is allegedly being exchanged for Ethiopia's future recognition of Somaliland's independence, though this has not been confirmed by Ethiopia.
And let me tell you something. Ever since I've been paying attention to the news, I've been learning about all kinds of places like this. Like there's a ton of other Palestines in the world, if y'all didn't know. Like, obviously, different histories, different reasons, right? But we're talking about chunks of land that somebody more powerful says is mine. And, you know, and not just Crimea and Donbass and all that stuff, Donbass. But there's some shit in South America regarding Venezuela and some other part somewhere. You got this here. Oh God, there was another one. I can't remember. But yeah, there's a couple other places like this. I'm like, holy shit. You got a bunch of places going. Free me.
Many major multinational companies must, for the first time ever, pay a global minimum tax of at least 15% on corporate profits. The landmark tax reforms went into effect Monday, nearly 3 years after 140 countries agreed to a new system, which is expected to increase tax revenue by $220 billion per year. The U.S. is not currently people following his ouster from a Greenville, North Carolina movie theater last week. Barber said staff at the AMC Theater confronted him over his use of a specialized chair he carries with him and needs to use due to an arthritic condition he's had for decades. The bishop was attending a screening of The Color Purple with.
Can we get any better with this the timing of this kind of shit? Like it couldn't have been Oppenheimer or some shit. Or maybe it would be some shit like that, wouldn't it? It'd be like a disabled Japanese person in the showing of Oppenheimer or something. Like, I'm just like you're gonna bother a disabled black reverend for using his special chair in The Color Purple. All right, let's see how that goes for you in the PR.
His 90-year-old mother. Bishop Barber says his removal was a violation of the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act as he addressed the incident at a news conference this week.
The ADA Act owes its birthright not to any one person. People work for years. They send alerts, they draft legislation, they testify, they negotiate, they file lawsuits. They stood up in places, they sat down in places, they wouldn't move from places. They fought, they stood, they engaged in nonviolence to say, you will not push us to the corner. Yes. You will not block us from coming just because we're differently able. Come on. They built a movement. They built a movement.
Bishop Barber met with the head of AMC.
It's people like him that makes me feel bad about parking in handicap spots, the disabled parking spots. I can, but if someone like that watched me, I gotta be like, I'm gonna move my car. I'll be right back. I gotta go move my car.
See yesterday and said he plans another meeting with him. Donald Trump appealed a decision by Maine's Secretary of State to remove him from the Republican primary ballot for his role in the January 6th Capitol insurrection. Trump is also expected to appeal Colorado's Supreme Court decision to remove him from its state primary ballot, which also cited the insurrection clause of the 14th Amendment. The case will likely end up before the Supreme Court, where 3 of the 9 justices were chosen by President Trump. And trailblazing U.S. Congressmember Eddie Bernice Johnson has died at the age of 88. In 1972, she was elected to the Texas House of Representatives by a landslide, becoming the first Black woman from Dallas to win elected office. She also served in the Texas Senate before winning a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives in 1992, where she served for 3 decades before retiring in 2022. Eddie Bernice Johnson was a pioneer in many fields, including the first registered nurse elected to Congress, the first African-American to represent Dallas in Congress, and the first woman and first African-American to chair the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. Democracy Now! Is funded by viewers.
That's what's up. All right. Headlines complete. Market. It's in the books. All right. Next up on the list is I got a lot of tabs open, but I started too late. If you're just getting here, welcome to the show. This is LeftFace TV. I'm Robo. We are dual streaming now. So I'm live on Twitch. I'm also live on YouTube, and the chat on the screen is both. I will tell you that we are that I am in the process of working with White Leaf. God, what's her name again? I forgot. And Discord is doing that thing where it only shows me the first letter of someone's name and then ... I don't know why that happens. But anyways, the woman who is mad at Xander Hall and every, whatever. I don't really get White Nervosa. That's what it is. So White Nervosa is she runs the White Leaf websites. Like if you went to like Voss.gg or any of those kind of websites. We had one for Beta Boy, and then I kind of like left it alone. But I've been wanting to consolidate a lot of this stuff, and now that we're dual streaming, it's definitely more. It just seems to make more sense now. So probably within the next month, we're gonna get LeftFace.tv. I already bought the domain for it, and LeftFace.tv is gonna be the central location where you're gonna want to donate, you're gonna want to subscribe, you're gonna want to do all that stuff there, and all that, right? So if you want to save your subscriptions, if you want to save your support for later, I that would probably be the best case scenario, because soon we're gonna transition. So we'll still be live here on Twitch, and we'll still be live on YouTube, but the place to chat, the place to donate, the place to throw your emotes and all that will be at leftface.tv soon. Next up on the docket is kind of some big news. Let me put it like this. I want to believe it's big news. I want to believe it's important. But I just don't know how consequential it really is. So South Africa has taken Israel to the International Court of Justice, which is the judiciary arm of the United Nations. For those who don't know, there is a difference between the ICJ and the ICC, whereas they're both at The Hague, and they're both for international crimes. However, the ICJ is a part of the UN, and it covers like state to state problems. So like border conflicts and things of that nature. Whereas the ICC, that's where like Nazis went, individuals, right? That would be like the ICC. So individuals who committed war crimes would get a warrant out for their arrest, and if they're in a country that cooperates with the ICC, they would extradite them to The Hague, and where they would get put on trial. So obviously, nobody is taking Netanyahu to The Hague yet. But Israel, as a state, is being taken to the ICJ. Now, when I say that I want to believe that this is important, when I say I want to believe that this is consequential, it's because as far as I can see it, right? Little old me, Mr. Nobody, Mr. Not an expert in anything, but I'm a fan of listening to experts. It seems pretty clear to me that there is some level of war crimes that Israel is committing against the Palestinian people. Pretty clear. I would say it's pretty clear to the international community as a whole. And I would say it wasn't clear, unfortunately, October 8th, October 9th, October 10th. These are the moments where I would say you're going to get the most amount of people. This is the time frame where you're going to get the most amount of Israel's allowed to defend itself, right? All that shit. But as the days turn into weeks, and the weeks have now turned into, what's that? November, December, 3 months, January 7th. Yeah, fuck. That's wild. We are 3 months into leveling Gaza. And strikes in the West Bank as well. Not only are we 3 months into leveling Gaza, we have plans, like statements, that we are not even close to being done. And whatever phase of combat operations that they're saying they're going to do, they want to pull out people. But let me tell you all something. Remember what I was saying before we crossed over, before they pushed into Gaza. Remember what I was saying when they were doing their own version of shock and awe. That they don't have friendly forces in close proximity to these drops, so they're just dropping them wherever the fuck they want to drop them. So them pulling back has to do with funds, and it has to do with an acceptance, a loss of acceptance of life, which is going to affect the population of Israel, right? These politicians, these people who are in power, have to take that into account, because as you know, because we're in a few hundred IDF soldiers dead now, right? As that increases, the public is going to have, the Israeli citizens specifically are going to have less and less and less a stomach for it. So what they're going to do is they're going to pull back, and they're still going to be leveling this place, but with even greater abandon because they don't have friendly forces in the area to worry about, and they clearly don't give a fuck about civilians. So going back to what I was saying, these numbers are already through the roof, and they're continuing to go up. What happens if the International Court of Justice doesn't rules in their favor? What happens if they're guilty? Probably nothing. Probably nothing. So Africa has a very close relationship, right? A very special experience, right? With apartheid. It's where the word comes from, right? And they know better than most what it looks like to rationalize what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Bam Margera. What? But welcome, Private Liquor. What do we have? What are the parallels? What are the similarities? Restrictions on movement, segregation, a different legal system, right? Especially when we're talking about like people in the settlements, the internationally recognized the legal settlements of the West Bank, the legal system for settlers and for those who are being occupied in the West Bank are not the same. And then you have the rationalization of violence, saying, thank you. Yeah, we'll hydrate. Talking about, listen, we can't, what do you expect us to do? If we free them, they're just going to kill us. If we treat them like equals, if we let them return back to their home, they're just going to kill us. Well, that's exactly what people say when you don't want to release your slaves, when you don't want to, get rid of apartheid. There were organizations that, in South African resistance movements that blew up buildings and killed civilians. Hundreds of civilians were killed from South African resistance movements. Okay, the people who are from there, and they would take these what they would have characterized as terror attacks, right? And they go, see, look what this organization, this Liberation Front movement, this, that, or the other, look what happened. And so we have to keep them subjugated. And so when you start looking at the various massacres that had happened with Afrikaan, right, the white Africans, South African police that happened over the years, it was to establish law and order. It was unfortunate, but it just had to be done. And so when South Africa looks over at Palestine, and let's look at the numbers. Let's go by the numbers here. As of the filings, as of when the filings was being written, we had 21,110 Palestinians killed. 7,729 children. 55,000 have been injured, including 8,663, of whom over 1,000 are amputees and disabled for life. Casualties, 70% women and children. One Palestinian child in Gaza has been killed approximately every 15 minutes since Israel commenced military action in Gaza on the 7th of October, 2023. I'm reading directly from the documents, the filings that South Africa sent to the ICJ. Thousands more are missing under the rubble. 61 hospitals and healthcare facilities in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed. Many have been placed under siege and have been subjected to forced evacuation, and only 13 hospitals are still partially functioning. Weighed under by mass overcrowding, 311 health workers have been killed, while many working, meaning that many of the wounded, including seriously injured children, cannot access healthcare. An estimated 5,500 women are having to give birth in unsafe conditions every month. Babies are dying from preventable causes. In addition to disease and malnutrition, premature babies have died due to the lack of fuel to supply hospital generators. Others have been found decomposing in their hospital cots. Medical staff have been forced to evacuate. Over 60% of homes in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed. 60% of all homes in Gaza are destroyed. Vast swaths of Gaza have been destroyed, including entire villages, refugee camps, towns, and cities that have been or are deliberately being rendered uninhabitable. Israel has made a humanitarian response impossible with constant bombardment, including of safe routes. 1.9 million people, nearly 85% of the population, are displaced. including elderly, wounded, and disabled people living in makeshift tents, lacking any or adequate sanitation and water in United Nations schools, and with relatives. And by the way, that doesn't even include the 750 plus thousand that were displaced during the Nakba. The entire population is facing starvation. 93% of the population in Gaza is facing crisis levels of hunger, with more than 1 in 4 facing catastrophic conditions, with death imminent. Against that background, the Israeli Prime Minister asserted on 25 December 2023, "We are not stopping. We are continuing to fight, and we are deepening the fighting in the coming days. And this will be a long battle, and it is not close to being over. The circumstances could not be more urgent." That is a portion of the 84-page filings from South Africa to The Hague, the ICJ. What's going on, CG? What's going on? Welcome. Are you back home? How was your trip? Glad to see you made it back safe. So we have a country with a very intimate history with apartheid making these filings. Part of their filings also include, let's see here, page 59. Yeah, let's put this up. So these are the actual documents here. Let's see. Let's make it to y'all cause read it. Oh my God, that's too much. So these are all numbers, right? And so what the immediate defense is always going to be is these come from the ministry that is a part of Hamas. Well, unfortunately for them, for the people who are making that argument, it turns out that whenever there are atrocities like this and third-party independent people come and investigate, the numbers are typically pretty close to what the ministry has reported. We don't have a history of gross lying about how many, like, we're saying it's 1 million dead, and then investigation shows like 15,000 or something. They're pretty much in the ballpark. But just in case that's not enough, right? Just in case, letting people know about the conditions that people are living in Gaza right now, the amount of people killed, the amount of structures and homes that are destroyed, the amount of babies killed, like, just in case you don't believe any of those numbers. Well, they did a Reading Rainbow move. What they say on Reading Rainbow? What does he say? Burton say on Reading Rainbow? But you don't have to take my word for it. The most amazing thing to me is that very wealthy business owners can easily convince educated middle-income people that it's the poor who are keeping them down. Let me tell you something. Gamer Jame, let me tell you something. That is probably one of the first, like in a series of light bulbs that would eventually all start popping off as I deconstruct, what my youth. Let's just put it that way. That right there is one of the ones that popped off first, and it was so like mind blowing to me. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I have looked into as I in my growth as a leftist was looking at Puerto Rico, right? Looking at Puerto Rico, looking at the colonization of Puerto Rico, and also trying to get a feel as somebody who doesn't live there, which is, that's going to be a big difference. As somebody who doesn't live there, trying to still get a feel for the political environment there. I'm like, what are activists there? What do they feel? What do the numbers look like, right? And you, well, I would say you'd be surprised, but you probably wouldn't be surprised how many people there on the island, but especially Puerto Ricans from the mainland, will be like, yeah, because they're fucking idiots, or they don't care, or they'd rather dance their perreo, they listen to their rap, and they'd rather get rims for their cars. Weird. Sounds like another subset of the United States of America once you say it out loud, huh? They'd rather do this, they'd rather do that. And it's like, are you blaming the conditions of a colonized island on the people who are living in poverty? Fucking wild. Fucking wild. All right, let's get back into it though. Oh man, I forgot to change this. All right. Boop. Yeah. So Gordy, all right, and that's his name in Star Trek. He goes, but you don't have to take my word for it. Let's go through some quotes as filed in official documents to into the courts, to the ICJ. Evidence of Israeli state officials' specific intent, right? So this is right here. This is going to be the biggest hurdle, the absolute biggest hurdle for any court proceeding that is trying to get a conviction for genocide, right? And this is it right here, because all of the things can kind of happen, but if they happen by accident, then it's sad to say, but it doesn't really count. You know who knows this better than anybody? Talk to a racist piece of shit in the United States. Talk to a racist piece of shit in the United States. Speak for about 5 minutes with a white supremacist and ask them what their opinion is about the genocide of indigenous people. You know what they'll tell you? It wasn't their fault that they weren't inoculated against smallpox. Most of them died of the smallpox. It was disease. Like what? Just because they brought disease there? It's that process. It's the idea that outside of the killing and the rape and the displacement and everything else that happened, the fact that they continued to spread their disease, knowing that the indigenous people around them were dying, doesn't count. Doesn't count because they didn't cut their heads off. It was a disease. So that's unfortunately kind of how it goes. CG, I think intent is fairly clear. Oh, you know what little thing I haven't been doing? This little guy. I've got a new little lifty little boop. Ah, look at that. Look at that. That's brand new. That's brand spanking new. I think the intent is fairly clear in this case, which is really depressing. Agreed. Absolutely agree. Let's see. Well, hopefully the court agrees. Let's see what happens. 7 October 2023, in a televised address by the government press office, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promised to operate forcefully everywhere. He confirmed, "We are striking our enemies with unprecedented might." On 15 October, when Israeli airstrikes had already killed over 2,670 Palestinians, including 724 children, the Prime Minister stated that Israeli soldiers understand the scope of the mission and stand ready to defeat the bloodthirsty monsters who have risen against Israel to destroy us. On 16 October, in a formal address to the Israeli Knesset, he described the situation as very, very, listen, remember, bloodthirsty monsters Have you hydrated yet? You have 2 of them. I did. Oh, 2 of them? Well, I did the first one. I missed the second one. Hydrating. Sorry. And I'm gonna take that. That's from Susan. So you did it. Thank you and welcome. A struggle between the children of light and the children of darkness, between humanity and the law of the jungle. If that isn't dehumanization, I don't know what is. Oh, there it is right there. A dehumanizing theme to which he returned on various occasions. Let's see, what else does it say? In a letter to Israeli soldiers, he writes, the letter asserted that this is a war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness. We will not let up on our mission until the light overcomes the darkness. We will defeat the extreme evil that threatens us in this entire world. We're facing monsters who murder children in front of their parents. This is a battle not only of Israel against these barbarians, it's a battle of civilization against barbarism. The Prime Minister referred again to Amalek, to the letter sent on 3 November. Now go, attack Amalek, and prescribe all that belongs to him. Spare no one, but kill alike men and women, infants and sucklings, oxen and sheep, camels and asses. Right? That's the that is from the Bible. God is good. God is good. Oh, and by the way, in this story, they did that. They killed they killed women, infants, sucklings, oxen, sheep, but didn't kill the king. And God was mad. God punished them for not killing everyone. Okay. All right. Don't want to get sidetracked. Sorry. President of Israel, President Isaac Herzog, made clear that Israel was not distinguishing between militants and civilians in Gaza, stating in a press conference to foreign media, in relation Palestinians in Gaza, over 1 million of whom are children, it's an entire nation out there that is responsible. Wait a minute. I thought it was just Hamas. Okay. It's not true, this rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved. It's absolutely not true. We will fight until we break their backbone. We will uproot evil so that there will be good for the entire region and the world. So this goes on. Israeli Minister of National Security. They're all terrorists and they should be destroyed. Israel Minister of Energy and Infrastructure. All the civilian population in Gaza is ordered to leave immediately. We will win. They will not receive here we go. They will not receive a drop of water or a single battery until they leave the world. Minister of Finance. We need to deal a blow that hasn't been seen in 50 years to take down Gaza. Minister of Heritage. We must, let's see, the north of the Gaza Strip, more beautiful than ever. Everything is blown up and flattened. Simply a pleasure for the eyes. We must talk about the day after. In my mind, we will hand over lots to all of those who fought for Gaza over the years and to those evicted from Gush Katif, a former Israeli settlement. There's no such things as uninvolved civilians in Gaza. Minister of Agriculture. Avi Dichter, in a television interview, recalled the Nakba of 1948, in which over 80% of Palestinian population of the new Israeli state was forced from their or fled their homes. We are now actually rolling out the Gaza Nakba. Deputy Speaker of the Knesset. Now we all have one common goal: erasing the Gaza Strip from the face of the earth. And it goes on. And it goes on. We're not going to read every quote. Israeli Army Coordinator of Government Activities, Israeli Army Reservist Major General, Israeli Army Reservist Motivational Speech, Head of the Army's Israeli Army's Air Operations Group, Commander of the 2908th Battalion of the Israeli Army, Israeli Army Colonel, Israeli army soldiers. The Israeli soldiers in uniform have been filmed on 5 December 2023 dancing, chanting, and singing, "May their village burn, may Gaza be erased." And 2 days later, on a separate occasion, inside Gaza on 7 December 2023, dancing, singing, and chanting, "We know our motto, there are no uninvolved civilians, and to wipe off the seed of Amalek." Netanyahu says, "Nuh-uh." Official quote from Netanyahu says, I know I am, but what are you? Or I know you are, but what am I? Sorry, it's been a while. It's been a while since I had to use that one. Gotta dig deep for that one. Israeli Prime Minister on Sunday pushed back against claims that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, calling such accusations false. I would like to say a word about South Africa's false accusation that Israel is committing suicide. No, South Africa is not. It is not we who have come to perpetuate genocide. It is Hamas. Netanyahu said, "Hamas would kill us all if it only could." So I think the argument is, if Hamas could, they would commit genocide. So that's why it's okay for us to commit genocide. This idea that Israel, it's not genocide if they did something really bad to you first. South Africa actually, in their findings, actually wrote. Let me see where I wrote some notes down here. Where did I put that? I had this really bad habit. I just close windows. I'm like, why did you close that? Were you done reading? Was that it? You couldn't just minimize it? Idiot. Check this out. Oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't write it down. But basically what they said is that you cannot carry this out, no matter, even if it's in response. Even if it's in response, that does not give anybody the right to violate these actions. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. All right. The application concerns acts, threats. This application concerns acts threatened, adopted, condoned, taken, and being taken by the government and military of the state of Israel against Palestinian people, a distinct national, racial, and ethnic group in the wake of the attacks in Israel on 7 October 2023. South Africa, here we go. Check this out. And they did the thing. They did it. Okay, so nobody can say shit. South Africa unequivocally condemns all violations of international law by all parties, including the direct targeting of Israeli civilians and other nationals and hostage taken by Hamas and other Palestinian. They did it, right? They did it. Congrats. Insert applause here for the track, for the sitcom. Listen. They denounced Hamas. Now everyone is gonna be just fine, right? Yeah, fucking right. No armed attack on a state's territory, no matter how serious, even an attack involving atrocity crimes, can, however, provide any possible justification for or defense to, oh, they misspelled defense. I'm just kidding. breaches of the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, which is a matter of law, whether as a matter of law or morality. It's those military desktop protocols kicking in. Close all windows and grab your caca for real. Shit, I need to break that habit because I piss myself off all the time. Like, why did I close the window? Oh my god, dude. So okay. So we talked about it, right? We see the filings. We got the numbers. Netanyahu and the cabinet and his cabinet. Nope, not true. Right? We talked about last week him getting back and forth with Erdogan and all that. Erdogan, whatever his name is. But here's my problem. The International Court of Justice has no direct enforcement function. There is nothing. Erdogan, there you go. Thank you. I always forget his name. In order for there to be some sort of action taken, right? There has to be cooperation from the state receiving the conviction. There also has to be cooperation from other countries that are willing to participate in this in consequences. And the only thing that you could really do are economic consequences. And I feel like they would be doing them already if not. It kind of reminds me of I hate to say this given the trivial nature of what I'm about to say next, but like y'all were paying attention to the Jonathan Majors thing, right? It's like if the court case had gone their way, it was like, see, he was innocent the whole time. But since it didn't go his way, then it's like, the courts are stacked, blah 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 blah, right? It's the same way it is here. It's if the court finds, if the international court finds that it's not genocide, I'm telling you right now, we will never fucking hear the end of it. Ever. From every Jewish supremacist to every right-wing pundit, we will never, ever hear the end of it. But it doesn't matter. Because if they're guilty, they're going to go, all right. And you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, the world is anti-Semitic. The court is anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? Everyone is anti-Semitic, and there was and everyone's out to get us. And you know what the United States is going to do? The United States is going to go, we support our friend Israel. And nothing about the conviction is going to amount to dick because of, the United States with, I forget, like six other countries, five other countries, I forget the total number, but have permanent veto authority. So it's like, we get into the part of the conversation that we've been at multiple times, where it's like we have to be out there. We have to say this is wrong. This is not. It's not supposed to go down like this. And then it's like, well, what next? What do we do? What can you do? Right? And that's why I'm gonna have a local organizer, Palestinian woman, Layana. I'll get her name right when she visits. But I think sometime next week we're gonna have her on, and I know CG's talked a lot about it. I put some links in the Discord. You have BDS. There is you can support BDS. You can find out if companies are if they're Israeli companies. if they are companies who do business with Israel, and then you could just choose not to. You could. It's not hard. You could choose not to support them. I will say this much, however. Hold on. I will say this much. Sometimes it seems a little unfair, the kind of stuff that we're expected to boycott. Because like why shouldn't I? Why should I have to go without? You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna hurt the company. It's just gonna hurt me, right? And if you know who this is, I've never heard him say this. I always put it like Sun Machal. But if you know who this is, you might be surprised to hear that he also agrees that BDS seems to unfairly hurt others. If you think I'm being serious, just listen to the video first. All right?
Peace. So I was having a discussion.
Sorry. That's really loud.
About the BDS movement with a Zionist who said that they thought that the BDS movement was kind of silly because the company was too big to fail and they would continue to make money, and the only people who would really suffer are the people who were boycotting because they would have to do without their favorite things. And this might come to you as a surprise, but I agree. They're not wrong. In fact, I really don't think that the people who got me into the BDS movement thoroughly explained to me enough what I would have to sacrifice, which was dirty. And I, for one, feel kind of bamboozled. What, you mean to tell me I can't find a sandwich with both dry and greasy, unseasoned, and too salty at the same time? Man, I don't get the drink where I can use the clean box where I set up my car and I stick dual hands.
I'm not from where he's from. I'm not sure.
What, you mean to tell me I can't find a sandwich with both dry and greasy, unseasoned, and too salty at the same time?
Man, I don't get to drink a drink. I'm reading the captions for people who are listening to this on the background because I know damn well you can't understand what the fuck he's saying.
Man, I don't get the drink where I can use the clean box.
That I can use the clean battery acid out my car and loosen rusted door hinges.
I try to set up my car and I stick dual hands. Hold up! You mean tell me I can't have more overpriced?
You mean I can't have an overpriced roasted bat bean that tastes like roasted bat butt bean poop water?
Rose bat bunky bean duty juice? No! Free Palestine. Save the Congo. All power to the people. We out here.
That's it. So look, you get a lot of bullshit out there on social media. Why aren't you out there fighting with them then? I don't see you going to Gaza. Listen, this is where we're at. And believe it or not, as hopeless as it sounds, there are things you can do. I would suggest writing your congressman. I would suggest, supporting local movements. You can click that BDS movement, and there's a link on there that says find your local BDS organization. When I click it, it shows up a DSA. DSA Savannah is registered on there. Son is from the U.S., but he's big into his Gullah Geechee heritage. That's what's up. Yeah. Oh, I thought he was from you know what? He has talked about that. That's right. I thought he was from somewhere in the Caribbean. Because that Caribbean pidgin, man, it's that throws me off sometimes. I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. But yeah, so listen, these are things that are easy to do. They're easy sometimes. While I find that video funny, I do find the video funny. I have to be honest. With you. I like McDonald's, unironically. Sometimes I have a craving, and them little cheeseburgers are good. But if that is the idea, if that is the goal, if that is the target from BDS, then I'm gonna refrain from it. There's some of you who might be a little bit confused because I have sat here and talked about the uselessness of corporate activism, right? One person saying I'm not gonna watch that movie because of this one actor. I defend it by saying those are personal decisions, right? Like me and Chick-fil-A, for example. But just like me and Chick-fil-A, don't make any, I don't have any illusions to me thinking that I'm doing something, right? Like, you deciding not to see a movie because it has a problematic actor in it isn't doing shit. But I support you in that because I do believe in making principled decisions for yourself. I am not doing anything to show Chick-fil-A. It is just, it goes against my personal principles, and I have chosen not to eat there. This is not what BDS is. BDS is not, I'm sorry, I said corporate earlier. I meant consumer. BDS is not consumer activism. BDS isn't just like, where can I not go buy this thing now? BDS is focused, and BDS works. And what you do is when you support BDS, it is everybody across the world who is on board with BDS will take these specific companies, right? And that's part of their tactic. Is it's not thousands of companies, right? Because everybody has a hand inside, inside Israel, given their relationship with the United States. It's, you know what? Let's all focus on the 6. Like, for example, there are other lists out there. Like, there's more local lists. But let's go ahead and click that link, and we'll just go ahead and look at it real quick, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing after this. Here we go. So this is the what is BDS, right? So if you wanted to like learn about it, if you wanted to be able to like, I've heard some arguments against it. I've heard BDS be called anti-Semitic, right? Because I guess if you want Israel to not be able to feed itself or something like that, like it was kind of presented to me in a kind of I don't want to say dishonest, because then that assumes that the person talking to me knew that it wasn't, but likely they were misinformed and then so misinformed me. But really what it does is you want specific companies to feel the financial pain of supporting, for instance, building buildings in the West Bank, right? If we go to the main part, where is it? What does BDS get involved? What to boycott, right? So there's like the primary one. If you do what to boycott, it'll show, right? Hey, I'm gonna this is me right here. This is me boycotting Chick-fil-A, right? And then these 3 people are like not playing the Harry Potter game, and you know what I mean? But really they go, hey, stop. And here's your link, BDS organizations in your country. We're gonna have very specific targets, and we need everyone to just, live your life, and then we're gonna concentrate our efforts here. Right now, there are a few, right? Sabra Hummus, Dead Sea Minerals, SodaStream, Israeli Fruit and Vegetables, Puma, AXA, Simmons, and HP. Especially Simmons. This was pretty shitty here. Is complicit in apartheid Israelis. Israel's illegal settlements enterprise through its planned construction of the Euro-Asia interconnector. HP runs a biometric ID system, right? So a lot of these things you might go, well, I don't wear Puma. But you'd be surprised, right? If you just do a little bit of homework, what other brands, that Puma owns, right? Who is connected with Simmons? I have a HP under my desk, and I'm not going to throw it away. But if I need to buy a new HP, if I need to buy a new printer, I'm not gonna. But you know who would really be effective in these things right here, especially for like HP and Siemens or whatever? Business owners. If you're a business owner and you support BDS and you say, you know what, I'm gonna make sure that when it comes time to re-outfit my IT equipment, I'm gonna make sure that it's not gonna be with any HP products. That's for sure. If I'm a college or or if I'm in a sports team, like, nope, we're not gonna outfit our team, or we're not gonna buy any Puma stuff. The other ones are a little bit easier because they're so niche. Like, okay, oh no, I wasn't gonna buy SodaStream anyway, so like I'm accidentally doing like most of these things. But again, there are also local efforts. So check with your BDS organization in your country, because sometimes there's not even in the country, but like local stuff, right? So like maybe we find out that there's a local thing here in Georgia that they support Israel and all this stuff. So maybe there's like a local store here, that we're not going to buy from there, right? But these are the only way for you to know that is by being on top of local organizations. All right. That is it for Israel. I hope something comes out of that. I hope something can come out of that. I hope what I actually hope is that when we get to if we can get a guilty conviction at the ICJ, I think you're gonna have people who hold off. They're gonna abstain. People who were either abstaining or supporting or voting in favor of. They're gonna go all in, right? Or people who would vote for measures, right? States and the UN who would vote for measures, but still not do anything past voting for a certain resolution. Maybe a conviction goes, we are on the wrong side of history, and this is going to affect my reelection. Like if without affecting their money or their reelection, their power, they don't give a fuck about history. They're going to be dead by the time they have to answer to that. But they're going to lose power. Which means, okay, I need to actually go forward. I need to join these other people that are doing economic sanctions on Israel. But the biggest piece on this chessboard when it comes to Israel is the United States. And Biden's numbers are slipping. And any kind of boost you saw in his support for workers, showing up on the picket line, any of that kind of stuff that you saw is, I'm telling you, fucking gone with with the way he's been supporting Israel. Recently, just wrote an executive order to bypass Congress and send munitions to Israel. So what I'm hoping is, if we get a conviction at the ICJ and his poll numbers are low enough, maybe this is hopium. This is hopium like a motherfucker right here. Maybe then something turns around in favor for the Palestinian people. It's sad we'd have to wait for that, because by that point we probably are going to be over 50K dead easy at this rate. Easy. All right, next up, for those who don't know, we started this series a while back. I actually contacted the creator, Chris Bell. Yeah, you know what's funny? I don't know if you're still here, L, but you said earlier, Chris Bell is cool as shit. You should follow him on Twitter if you're not already.
She's still telling me what to do. 5, 4, 3.
And when you said that, I thought to myself, Chris Bell, that sounds familiar. And now that I'm giving the intro to this one, it's like, yeah, Chris Bell, that's right. So yeah, I talked to Christopher Bell, filmmaker, documentarian, and he said, please watch this on your stream. And so I'll probably pause and chit chat or whatever, but here's the premise of this. If you didn't see this, hold on. MeansTV, gotta walk and chew gum at the same time. All right. Hold on. Episode 7. Episode 7. There you go. So if we didn't see the first parts, right, it basically starts with how the election, the 2000 election, got stolen from 2004 to 2004 elections. Yeah, the 2004 election, because he gets elected in 2000, and then they go through like 9/11, and his response to that. Then we get to 2004. But the nature, the way that this is filmed, it's supposed to make you feel like you're watching TV in the early 2000s. There's no narrator. There's nobody like talking to you about what's going on. You're just gonna see a series of news clips and even commercials from that time frame to make you feel like you're there, like you're sitting on your couch watching the news in the early 2000s. But of course, what you're being seen is to tell you the story, and to remind you, especially if you're younger than me, right? Because I mean, I was 20 when he first got into office. So if you're younger than me, I didn't give a shit then. I'm sure you sure as shit didn't give a shit. If you're sitting there 16, 15, 14 years old, then this is like a little time capsule kind of deal, right? So that's, you're gonna see what I mean in a second. We are at episode 7. George W. Bush starts the year out by understanding violence. Gas prices are up. The Patriot Act is up. Lenin and Hitler are equated. Afghanistan gets a Coca-Cola factory. Crash wins Best Picture at the Academy Awards. You were in middle school. Now, no excuse. You should have been politically minded in 6th grade. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and start this. And then this is gonna be the this is about, I think, what is it? At least about an hour, right? I'm just gonna do this real quick. Oh, 20 minutes. All right. Yeah, and then that'll be the stream. Just in case some of y'all take off after in the middle of this, like if this is not your bag, let me tell you all real quick. Today is Wednesday. That means if you check out the links, I don't have this command over on the YouTube side. But if you're on the YouTube side, all you got to do is go to Blurred Without Fear and check out the playlist. Nerds of Culture, episode something 4. I think episode 5 or 6. The next episode of Nerds of Culture is tomorrow. We will be live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and I think we're gonna be talking New Year's resolutions and looking forward to the next year ahead of us. So make sure you follow us over there. Good night, Dr. Midnight. Thanks for hanging. The documentary series Miss Me Yet that you are about to watch includes material and footage from various sources. These materials have been used in an effort to advance an understanding of cultural, political, human rights, economic, scientific, and social justice issues. This constitutes a fair use of any such copyrighted material as provided for in sections 107 of the U.S. copyright law. Our goal is to share knowledge. If you wish to use copyrighted material from Miss Me Yet for purposes of your own that go beyond fair use, you must obtain permission from the copyright owner. And since this work is probably not going to be transformative in nature, we're gonna watch party this mother. Then I did get permission from Chris Bell to watch it, and it not be transformative.
She's still telling me what to do. 5, 4, 3.
Come on.
She's still telling me what to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
As the presidential election of 2000 drew closer, the main political parties offered the voters two candidates, soon to be former Vice President Al Gore and Texas Governor, son of a previous president, George W. Bush. This film is an attempt to replicate what the preceding years felt like.
All right, maintain. Be cool. Let's give this a try. We must enhance non-compliance protocols, sanctioned not only at IAEA formal sessions, but through intersessional contact.
We must enhance non-compliance protocols, sanctioned not only at EIEIO formal sessions, but through intersexual conduct.
Here, the U.S. forces killed 11 people from one family, the relatives of the deceased. Just in case anybody doesn't know, there's a lot of people who watch this that watch it in the background, so I always read the captions out. Family decided to build in this place a school to commemorate the martyrs. Families who were killed in this place, which includes 2 teachers, man and woman.
وهاي الصورة
These are
نفسها
Aisha,
وهاي الصورة
Osama,
الشهيدة
and
أسماء
Hawara.
طفل عمرها 5 سنوات وهذا الشهيد أسامة ابن أختي عمره 3 سنوات وهاي الشهيدة حوراء بنت فائز عمرها 5 سنوات وهذا الطفل حسام
The dead Faiz carrying his child with his child and wife and picture of him
من
alone.
القتل وهذا صورة أخوي الشهيد فائز وزوجته وابنه عمره 7 أشهر.
Yeah, I said that if people say, well, there's got to be no violence in order for this to be a successful experience, and it's not going to happen. A lot of debate, a lot of questions about what's happening. I understand that. Again, I repeat to you, I know what violence does to people. First of all, I'm confident people say, I wonder if these people can ever get their act together and self-govern. The answer is, I'm confident they can if we don't lose our nerve. I call upon the governments around the world to stop the violence, to be respectful, to protect property. But here are some of the feedstocks that we've used. That's Texas sweet gas right there. And what we do with it, of course, is we build it like this, over the stock. And at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. This is what you get. And that's a. Sam Alito is eminently qualified to be a member of the bench. I'm not the only person that feels that way. The American Bar Association looked at his record, looked at his opinions, looked at his temperament.
That's the best part about this whole series here is the fact that it's like you, again, I was 20, right? So the appointment of Alito, like what you get to see in this series is you get to time travel back and you get to point at the screen every now and then and go, oh, this is the point. This fucked us right here. And this is definitely one of those points.
And came to the same conclusion that he is well qualified to be a Supreme Court judge. These good folks have used the Patriot Act to protect America. There's oversight on this important program. And now when it came time to renew the act, for partisan reasons, in my mind, people have not stepped up and have agreed that it's still necessary to protect the country. The enemy has not gone away. They're still there. And I expect Congress to understand that we're still at war, and they've got to give us the tools necessary to win this war. And so for the next 30 days, I look forward to working with members of Congress and speaking to the American people as clearly as I can about the importance of renewing the Patriot Act. The National Security Agency is playing a crucial part in the war on terror. First of all, the good folks who work out here understand.
It's weird watching these, like there's almost a feeling of nostalgia, but at the same time, Jesus, he was horrible. I hate that he had this weird redemption arc in recent years. Yeah, you know what's funny is this is exactly why I think this documentary is so important. I think this documentary is so important because of that redemption arc. The idea, like, first of all, I'm okay with redemption, right? I mean, I better be, right? We've had this talk plenty of times, but why did anybody allow him to redeem himself? Why? Because he handed Michelle Obama a piece of candy? Because he's, because he laughs at himself? Has he ever acknowledged the over 1 million civilians that died due to his decisions to go into Iraq and Afghanistan? Like, fuck, dude. That's, I might be like, if he sat there and, like, imagine this. I think it's the painting. Yeah, maybe, old man, retired life. Imagine that interview. Imagine him sitting down with somebody, Dateline. Imagine him staring at the floor. Imagine he sits there and tears start running down his face, and he's like, I thought I was doing good. And there was a point where it was like a point of no return, and it was already too late, and their deaths are on my hands, and there's nothing, you know what I mean? Like something. I might be one of the idiots then. I might be at that point and be like, you know what? Leave that old man alone. like who knows, right? I'm not saying everybody would, nor or should, but I might even be one of those people. Like, let that old man die in peace. You know what I mean? But why are people like that? And he hasn't even said shit. He did the thing, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. What?
And we are at war. And they know what we know, that we face determined enemies who will strike without warning. And they know what I know, that we must learn the intentions of the enemies before they strike. That's what they do here. They work to protect us. We've seen that part of the terrorist strategy is to place operatives inside of our country. They blend in with civilian population. They get their orders from overseas. I'm mindful of your civil liberties, and so I had all kinds of lawyers review the process. We briefed members of the United States Congress, one of whom was Senator Pat Roberts, about this program. It's amazing when people say to me, well, he was just breaking the law. If I wanted to break the law, why was I briefing Congress?
While I listen to you talk about freedom, I see you assert your right to tap my telephone, to arrest me and hold me without charges.
I'm not your favorite guy. Go ahead.
Okay. Is that in my lifetime, I have never felt more ashamed of nor more frightened by my leadership in Washington, including the presidency, by the Senate and
no, let her say. Let her speak.
Yeah. And I would hope, I feel like, despite your rhetoric, the compassion and common sense have been left far behind during your administration. And I would hope from time to time that you have the humility and the grace to be ashamed of yourself, inside yourself.
I'd like to describe that decision I made about protecting this country. You can come to whatever conclusion you want. The conclusion is I'm not going to apologize for what I did on the terrorist surveillance program.
Yeah, they're going to applaud that too. They applauded that. Yeah, they definitely applauded that. This is let me tell you, as an idiot, right? So what is this? What do you say this was? 2006. So I'm 26 now, and I'm 100%. I'm 100%. Let me tell you something. I was on Twitter, and somebody was talking about. No, it was here on stream. Yeah, it was here on stream on the last stream last week on Friday, and it was. Somebody came on when we were talking about Israel, as usual, and it was mess with the best, die with the rest. Like, hey, well, if you didn't want to get blown up, blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, dumb shit. Like, there wasn't approval for destruction of an entire people like greater than this time frame right here. Greater than this time frame right here. It's wild, and we're not talking about like you can't look back on this. If you look back on this and you try to look through it through the frame of like MAGA and libs and socialist, that shit wasn't not like that then. Like the people who like this dude were like the far right, the right, the centrists, the moderates, the libs. Like this guy had an insane improver rating for a while, and then it started, going to shit eventually. But we played into that whole bumbling idiot thing big time, and escaped a lot of culpability. So that is 100% it. Yeah.
Attacked us, which hurt our economy. Obviously, my decision to go to war. People don't, war is an unsettling thing. I fully understand that.
So, my favorite part about this series, if you guys haven't started this before, it's actually free on MeansTV. So you don't even need a subscription to MeansTV. Although, if you have the funds for MeansTV, that is definitely it's a creator-owned platform, and it's definitely a dope-ass place to send your money if you want to subscribe. But it's these middle things. I call them the little palate cleansers, because what he does is to really put you into the year. Like there's like different little clips of different shows and commercials and things, and shit, if you want to feel nostalgia, this is it.
Tonight, Steve Irwin killed by a stingray.
What's a bamboo?
It's home decor and a music store.
Is there more?
Baby booties and Hollywood movies.
Subway Dinner Theater presents Alone.
So almost Amazon.
Last.
Lisa's working late. Grab some dinner, Lisa?
نن ډېر د افتخار ځای دی، ډېر د خوشحالۍ ځای دی چې ګران هېواد افغانستان یو بل قدم د افغانستان د ترقۍ، خودکفایي او ښه ژوندانه خواته واخیست.
My government is helping Americans who've lost their jobs get new skills for new careers. And we're helping to create millions of new jobs in both our countries by embracing the opportunities of a global economy. We see those opportunities here in India. Americans who come to this country will see Indian consumers buying McCurry meals from McDonald's.
Multiple missions in Afghanistan.
Bad idea. Thanks for serving. Like, your messaging stuff that you use.
Right, so these are examples of some of our products that we'll do.
Building Fallujah. The enemy didn't like to hear the truth.
No. Heavy. They're actually not too heavy, sir. Each roughly.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, yeah. Today's your birthday too?
Yes, sir.
It is? Now, come on up, have a birthday picture. Come on, get up here. Anybody else have the birthday today? Your birthday? Yeah, sure. It is your birthday? Come on. It's amazing how everybody's birthday.
I was going to say, if we start to get any more, I'm going to start to question it.
Come on.
Another one. My goodness.
Happy birthday. Today's your birthday? Awesome. Dear Richard, he just told me he's 30 years old.
No, yeah, it's like actually a good point. Now my name is, coming out there, and it's like, I sent you to a war we shouldn't have been in. You lost your legs, and I'm gonna come out and have a run with you. That's wild.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I was here.
That could have been it right there. All he had to do was accidentally put that shit in gear, and that'd have been the end.
Here, a couple of days after Katrina hit. It's amazing, isn't it? Amazing what the world looked like then and what it looks like now. You can see the reconstruction effort beginning here in this part of the world. It's a sense of renewal here. Maybe hard for those of you who have endured the last year to really have that sense of change. But for a fellow who was here and now a year later comes back, things are changing. And I congratulate you for your courage and your perseverance. And there's still challenges. There's still more to be done. You can see it with the temporary trailers. I feel the quiet sense of determination that's going to shape the future of Mississippi. And so I've come back on this anniversary to thank you for your courage and to let you know the federal government stands with you still. Thank you. Need to get her keys out of the car. How you doing, buddy? Jenny, right over here. Listen, we got people like this who are working for a living.
Are we gonna get the George Bush doesn't care about black people?
Paying higher prices for the gasoline is like a tax.
Yeah, he fucked people in Katrina, just like Trump fucked people in Puerto Rico, and they're still to this day. So by the way, I take Spanish lessons. I'm trying to get back to my roots. I'm getting better. Still not there, but I purposefully found a tutor in Puerto Rico, so that way the dialect and the way that I speak it is like where my people come from, right? And I talked to her about damages that she still has to this day, and problems with the electric grid and damaged homes to this day that have not been repaired due to the last hurricane. Come on.
And talked the other day about the things we can do. First thing is to make sure that nobody's getting cheated. And one of the roles of the federal government is to make sure that you're taking care of. We need more design capacity. One of the reasons why you got high prices is because demand is greater than supply. And when demand is greater than supply, the price goes up. Bin Laden and his terrorist allies have made their intentions as clear as Lenin and Hitler before them. The question is, will we listen? Will we pay attention to what these evil men say?
And the Oscar goes to Crash.
We in Kazakhstan are very big fans of your Premier Bush. We think he is not only a wise man, but also very strong, although perhaps not as strong as his father, Barbara.
That would be his mother.
No, Barbara, the one with the big head and white hair.
I miss that. I miss Borat so much.
I remember, I still see, moving on forever, living life this way.
Fuck, dude. Talk about I want somebody to like pull blood out of my body as I watch this so we can like formulate the chemical composition of nostalgia. Like we've captured it. We've captured the chemical breakdown of nostalgia. Jesus. I'm waiting for YouTube to be like, your stream is now shut down.
Mr. President, a cultural question for you. There is a version of the national anthem in Spanish now. Do you believe it will hold the same value if sung in Spanish as in English?
No, I don't. Because I think the national anthem ought to be sung in English. And I think people who want to be a citizen of this country ought to learn English. And they ought to learn to sing the national anthem in English. See, English allows a newcomer to go from picking crops to opening a grocery store. English allows a newcomer from sweeping an office floor to running that office.
English English does that. All right.
English allows someone to go from a low-paying job to a diploma, a career, and home ownership. When immigrants assimilate and advance in our society, they realize their dreams. We're going to build high-tech fences in urban corridors. For the agents here who've been on the front lines of enforcing our border, you understand how important those high-tech fences are.
Not hard work, not determination, not generational wealth, not the color of your skin, not the lack of barriers, hurdles, oppression. English is going to do it. You don't agree people should learn English and assimilate when they come? No, I don't. That's a wild ass question, Trailhead. You've been here a minute. Come on. I don't expect you to agree, but you knew the answer to that question. Why would I need anybody to assimilate to anything? I just come here and be here. You know what I mean? This is why it's great. Nobody assimilates. The idea of assimilation is a lie. It's a myth. It's stupid. You wouldn't have because assimilation comes with it. I'm answering you. You're not new, so I'm not going to talk to you like you're a piece of shit or some like random troll or anything, right? So you've been here, so I'm going to answer you in good faith. Here is why these are bad things. Because what assimilation implies is a erasure of your own culture, right? You can enter society and pick up certain customs and traditions if you would like to, right? But nobody should enter any place and feel like they have to lose any part of who they are. You know, people come here and succeed and are great citizens not knowing English. It's not even really about why is it a bad thing. That's not the question. The question you should ask is, why is it a bad thing to maintain the culture you have? You know what I mean? If you come here and you don't speak English, what does it matter? You know, are you a good person? Are you a good character? Do you have a strong moral compass? Do you want to make the world better around you? Like, these are things that are way more important than what language do you speak? You know what I mean? So no. Yeah. So you're close, Trailhead. You're getting somewhere because you won't make as much money. I'm saying that's shitty. That's bad. You know what I mean? The streamer thinks the Austro-Hungarian Empire is the ideal nation. Hey, what's the name of H.P. Lovecraft's cat? I don't know. It's a good question. Am I supposed to know that? It is real, Trailhead. It is real. But you're asking me my opinion about that reality, though. You know what I mean? I am not the arbiter of. No, started that sentence wrong. I'm not trying to say like what is or isn't real. I'm not trying to deny the shittiness of our reality. I'm saying that it's not good. So no, and also, by the way, I mean, there's plenty of people, especially within their communities, who do real well and are great business owners and barely know English. You know what I mean? And Bush was just suggesting that, hey, this is my best suggestion for people looking right. That's you implying though. That's what you took from what he said. But it's not what he said. He said English allows you to go from being in the fields to owning your own grocery store. Like, English does that. You know what I mean? First of all, that ignores all the other barriers to that, as if they're all language barriers. You know what I mean? As if there's no other types of barriers. And so, yeah. Thanks, Sig Fang. as soon as you said we ain't doing that, it jogged my memory. I'm like, oh, I think I've heard this little tidbit before. Appreciate you.
So you can do that job. We're going to make sure you got new patrol roads. We can't ask these new Border Patrol agents that we're training to do their job and not have adequate patrol roads to be able to go up and down the border. We're going to build virtual fence that employs motion detectors and infrared cameras and unmanned aerial vehicles to prevent illegal crossings. Many Americans look at these events and ask the same question 5 years after 9/11, are we safer? The answer is
Midnight Monarchy. I feel you there. Hold on, where's that thing? Yeah, this right here.
yes. America is safer. In many ways, I'm sorry we're having this meeting. In other ways, I know how important it is that we're having this meeting. The violence that has been occurring in our schools is incredibly sad, and it troubles a lot of folks, and it troubled me. It's a dangerous world. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish I could tell the American people, don't worry about it.
This is still a country. You can work your way up in that way, hard work way. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but the respawn. What's going on? We are at we're towards the end of. Did you cut your hair? Is your hair short right now? Did you cut your hair? Did you cut your hair? No. You're lying. You're lying. Did you really? I'm going to cry if you did. I'm going to cry right here on stream if your hair is short. No! Why would you do this? Oh, no. I'm sure it looks great. I'm sure it looks equally as great as when it was long. Put it in selfies. If you have a picture, do you mind if I put it on stream? If not, that's okay. That's okay. I still want to see it though. Oh wow. Okay, hold on. All right. Okay, yeah, Trailhead. Yes, you could always work your way up. You can do that, but saying it, you don't want to say it in a way that kind of ignores the other barriers that still exist. It is harder for some people than others. Period. It does look good. It looks it looks good. Oh, you got it colored too. Look at that. I don't care. It's rushed. It's a rush in the car. I can put it on stream. All right, let's put it on stream. I think that's the I don't care, right? Is that what you're saying? I don't care too? I want to be doubly sure. I mean, okay. Boop. So it's not like that's not super short. That's good. That's fun. That's good. Yeah. He's got a little thing going there. I like the little flip. I like the is that what's that called? Is that like asymmetrical? Or what is that? What is the kind of bangs is that, right? That's like the jagged, I forget what it's called. I like it. Whew. Don't cry. For y'all who don't know, Ree had really long hair.
They're not coming again, but they are coming again. It's bad in Iraq. Does that help? I do know that a lot of innocent people have died, and that troubles me and it grieves me. And I applaud the Iraqis for their courage in the face of violence. I am, amazed that this is a society which so wants to be free that they're willing to, that there's a level of violence that they tolerate.
I'm going to share a good motivational link with you so you can watch it if you find it convenient. How long is it? Maybe if it's a palate cleanser, we'll close out with it. The U.S. troops are occupying forces. They want to plunder our wealth. They don't love us.
فعلا جاي محتلنا هو طمعان بينا هو مو جاي حبا بينا لو كان حبا بينا كان وفر لنا صحيح السلام كان خلى ولدنا طيبه مو ولدنا حسره تمشي بالشارع.
It's a fine looking bird, isn't it? Flyer is probably wondering where he's going to wind up tomorrow. He's probably thinking he's going to end up on somebody's table. Today, Saddam Hussein was convicted and sentenced to death by the Iraqi High Tribunal for the massacres committed by his regime in the town of Dujail. Saddam Hussein's trial is a milestone in the Iraqi people's efforts to replace the rule of a tyrant with the rule of law. It's a major achievement for Iraq's young democracy and its constitutional government. During Saddam Hussein's trial, the court received evidence from 130 witnesses. The man who once struck fear in the hearts of Iraqis had to listen to free Iraqis recount the acts of torture and murder.
Okay, your turn.
That he ordered against their families and against them. Today, the victims of this regime have received a measure of the justice which many thought would never come. Saddam Hussein will have an automatic right to appeal his sentence. He will continue to receive the due process and legal rights that he denied to the Iraqi people. We have an obligation to ensure our military is capable of sustaining this war over the long haul and performing the many tasks that we ask of them. I'm inclined to believe that we need to increase in the permanent size of both the United States Army and the United States Marines. I've asked Secretary Gates to determine how such an increase could take place and report back to me as quickly as possible. I see from the look on your face, Barney, that you hadn't even thought about the plot. Hey, Barney, you better get started, and you better run along right now.
I think this is the thing I hated the most about this era, like these little stupid fucking videos.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in.
Like during this time, I liked Bush. I was an idiot, right? And I still like, God, these fucking video. God. And I always be like, man, imagine like in the future when you'd be able to like fast forward this kind of stuff. Oh, that would be so cool.
You got to be kidding me.
Well, maybe better like next year, Margaret. Look, I got to rehearse. Can you help me out here?
That goes on the screen. A moral waiver is a measure employed by the armed forces to allow a recruit to join the military despite having one or more traits or classifications that would otherwise bar them from joining. The U.S. Army doubled its use of the moral waiver due to the lack of soldiers available for the Iraq War. Convicted sex offenders and child abusers were now allowed to enter. The total number of moral waivers in 2006 was 34,476. So he's focusing on the sex offenders there, which is that's bad. But you know what else they did? People with gang affiliations. Gang affiliations. The U.S. Army had a no shit. I'm not even kidding. Y'all youngins could look it up. In the mid-aughts, there was a no shit organized crime problem in the U.S. Army. Like we're talking sex trafficking, drugs, murders, straight the fuck up. I'm gonna say this next part because I don't know. Take this next part with a grain of salt. I remember hearing it then, but I've never actually like confirmed it. It's not like, you know, but I remember hearing that you could that gangs would send their people into the army or the Marines or whatever. Well, the Marines always had pretty strict. You couldn't really fuck with the Marines. It was the Army because of their requirements, right? Because they were the main people for the they spearheaded both theaters, right? For the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War. The Marine Corps have by and large always been able to maintain their standards because they sit at about 200,000 Marines active duty, and they don't ever have to increase it. And so that was it. So the Marines, they have a different problem. They have a they kill their wives problem, or kill like the people their wives are cheating with, like shit like that, right? But the Army had a much bigger Pachuco cadaver. Thanks for the follow. The Army had a way bigger problem because they had to increase their numbers so much more. In Iraq, in Spiker Air Base, there was a whole ass prostitution ring, which is what I would have called it at the time. Now I know better. I don't know enough details to know if it was a good thing. You know what I mean? It was like, as far as like, were these a bunch of women doing sex work? So who gives a fuck? Because there was like actual pimps too. So I don't know how dope it was, like how like let people do their thing type shit. It could have been forced. There probably was violence involved. There probably was sexual assault involved. Not like, you know, not like it wasn't like they caught a bunch of people doing OnlyFans, right? It was like there was pimps involved. There was money involved and shit. So it wasn't the woke kind of shit. Hello, I notice on Twitch that political channels seem to be populated with people who agree all the time, and if someone disagrees, they get labeled a troll. Pachuco. You know who gets labeled trolls here? Trolls. So around these parts, I don't auto me nor the mods will auto ban people who disagree. A troll is somebody here's a troll. Somebody came in a little bit ago and was talking about I don't even want to repeat it because it's one of those stupid things to where like you're supposed to go Google something and it's the N-word, right? I'll just leave it at that. You know, people who just want to come in and just be like, you're a fucking idiot or blah, blah, blah. And, you know, okay. All right, cool. You're not really here to have a discussion. Yeah, that. And here is one thing that I won't. Here's one thing that I won't promise you. That if you are a conservative or you like Trump, definitely you're not going to get banned. But I don't make anybody be nice to you. Let's put it that way. 9 times out of 10, the reason why you don't find many conservatives here is not because they're banned. I think I could probably count on one hand how many people have been banned. They just eventually leave. So, you know, we're mainly leftists. I'm a socialist. There's different labels people use for themselves. There's people left of me in this community. There's people right of me in this community. But as long as we're good faith and we have, and you can have a respectful, there you go, a respectful conversation without using slurs and shit, then yeah. I'm talking about disagreeing policy candidates. People aren't nice about that one outlier. That's the opposite of good. If people aren't nice to that one, oh yeah, for sure. If we're speaking in faith, differences in belief is fine. What's important to you for policy right now? Yeah. I mean, those are good questions. Let me see here. I went to go do that. I wonder if I still have it in the chat here. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I do. All right, so check this out. For people who may be over there on YouTubers, not my name. I see you over there. Thank you. For people who may join in the party next time we're in there, one thing I would really appreciate, and I should have brought it up earlier because now we're at the end and, it is what it is. But as I am trying to build up the watch time over on the YouTube side to get monetized and really just try to get that whole thing going, if you're more comfortable here in YouTube, in Twitch, you have the subs here, you have the emotes here, all that stuff. That's great. But if you could just open that in a separate window, assuming you're not on your phone or something, but if you are on your computer, if you open it in a separate window, mute the tab and just let that shit play, then that would be great. But if you're more comfortable with YouTube, I'm live streaming on YouTube and I'm also here on Twitch. And that'll be the norm. Tomorrow is the next episode of Nerds of Culture with the Blurred Without Fear and Just Chris Cypher. That's gonna be over on Blur Without Fear's channel. If you head over to nerdsofculture.tv, actually I'll just make it easier. Here. Nerds of Culture is boom, bam, right there. You said you sent me a link. Let's see. I think I gotta go. Did you send what you DM it in? Oh yeah, I see it there. Joanne Beck. How's everything? LeftFace TV. Joanne Beck. That's not you, but that's somebody. I don't really ever check my DMs here. Let's see what this is. It's gonna be based off the length. John Smith, What It Took to Become the Best. 11 minutes. We won't watch it tonight. But I will tear it apart on Friday. I mean, watch it in good faith on Friday. Here, let me show the two white guys are gonna tell me what it took to be successful, and I could just tell by the dude with the orange shirt's name, it's gonna be something along the lines of there's gonna be some bootstraps in here. Okay, there's gonna be some digging deep. Get some. But if you don't have a couple extra bootstraps, and if you don't have bootstraps attached to your bootstraps, you're doing something wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what the video's about, but I'm gonna put it in the save deals here. First, what it took to become the best. Step 1, know English. If you can't sing the national anthem in English, you ain't getting nowhere, Jack. That's good. Oh shit. So yeah, tomorrow is Nerds of Culture. Nerds of Culture is a little bit different than Blurred Cave. So if you guys know Blur Without Fear, he does a comic books. It's a comic book based podcast that he does with his buddy Carter on Saturdays. Thursdays is Nerds of Culture, which is has a more like lefty political vibe to it. Still gonna be nerd shit, but like for example, we just got done covering a whole thing on Jonathan Majors and the allegations and the convictions, things like that. Pop culture stuff and we bullshit. It's a pretty big community because Blur Without Fear is a much bigger creator than I am. So you're going to be in a chat with hundreds of people. Yeah. And Just Chris, the number 3 host, the 1/3 of the host, I should say, is just got engaged. So that's good. Season 21, episode 24, Bill Maher, if you have HBO, it's the last 10 minutes or so. Bill Maher's take on the Palestinian-Israel conflict. Here we go, Trailhead. Here we go. This won't surprise you, because again, I know you've been here quite a few times. But I would be willing to bet a lot of fucking money that I will think that whatever Bill Maher has to say about the Israel-Palestine conflict, that my opinion will be that it is dog shit. I could be wrong. I haven't seen it. I could be wrong. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write that down here. Because sometimes I save things and I forget to pull them up. So my handy dandy notebook. John Smith, become the best. And then last 10 minutes of what was that? Season 21, episode 24. Next time I'm going to be live on this channel will be on Friday at hopefully 8 p.m. That's part of the New Year's resolution. If you missed the beginning of the show, I'll just repeat them here. Some of the New Year's resolutions is going to be providing a more concerted effort into the shows that I put in here, doing homework, coming in with a purpose instead of just plopping my fat ass here and just watching some videos, which is still going to happen from time to time, just by the way. But there's going to be more shows with more structured either guests or deep dives and things like that, right? And also I want to start earlier and have a more concise show. Maybe they still go about 3 hours or whatever, but like for instance here we're at about 2 hours and 45 minutes. I probably would still be like back on video one the way that we used to do it, right? So we're probably going to be running more at about 2.5 hours or so, maybe 3. But in a more structured sort of way, and also starting earlier. Usually, today I was live at 10, and then before I used to be live around 9. I'm gonna start trying to be live around 8 Eastern, and then also we're gonna be working on getting the website back up and running. If you guys know what White Leaf websites are, then we're gonna be working on getting the White Leaf website back up and transferred over. It used to be Beta Boy, but transferring everything over, and then I'm gonna start going over there, and it's still gonna be live on Twitch and live on YouTube. So if you don't want to go to leftface.tv and join the chat there and subscribe there and donate there, so your money doesn't go to Google or Twitch, it goes to moi. Then I would say that, oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Not my name. Appreciate that. No, I clicked the wrong thing. Let's see. Where's that window at? I'm still getting used to this whole dual thing there. Nope, that's Trailhead. Oh, what happened? It did not bring over. Not my name. You three together are, because so much more Twitch stuff came up. I got it. I appreciate that. Not my name. But anyways, okay. We got it. We're done. We got the segments out the way. If you missed the first one, I'm going to chop that bitch up and put it on YouTube. We're going to get some more videos going. We're going to get more focused on there. We're going to be more structured. Ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, that is the end of the show. This is LeftFace TV, and I'm Robo, and I appreciate you guys' love and support and just being here. If you don't know, or if you subbed, or if you just hung out, it's all support, and I love it, and I appreciate y'all. Make sure you take care of each other, but almost more importantly than that, don't forget to take care of yourself. Take care, and hopefully I'll see y'all tomorrow. If not, I'll see you on Friday. Take care. Love y'all.